Starting a job interview, it can feel like one of the most stressful moments, can it? In your whole professional life.
Oh, absolutely. The pressure's on, stakes feel really high.
And then the interviewer throws you what seems like the easiest question ever. Tell me about yourself.
Right. And that's exactly where so many candidates, well, they kind of stumble. They treat it like a throwaway warm-up.
It's casual chat.
Exactly.
Right.
But this question, and it's almost always the first one, it's actually your biggest chance. It's strategic. You get to control the narrative right from the start.
Set a positive professional tone.
And, crucially, show them immediately you can communicate effectively.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive. We're looking at a guide that turns this, common opener into a really precise 7-point plan.
A blueprint, really.
Yeah, a blueprint. We're not just talking about what to say. We want to give you the actual structure, the one designed to boost your confidence and, well, hopefully increase your chances of getting picked.
Because if you nail these first couple of minutes, you really anchor the whole interview in your favor.
That idea of anchoring is interesting. So when the interviewer asks, tell me about yourself, or who are you, they're doing more than just asking, right?
Oh, much more. It's like they're running a quick diagnostic in the background. They're looking for fundamentally three things, and it's not really about the facts on your resume they already have.
Okay, what are they?
One, who are you professionally, like your professional identity? Two, your personality. Are you someone people would, want to work alongside?
The fit question.
Exactly. And three, and this is super critical, especially based on our source, how well can you organize your thoughts and actually articulate them? They're testing communication basically under pressure.
And that communication piece, you mentioned the source, it stresses that it's non-negotiable. The structure is key, especially for showing fluency, right?
Absolutely. The second you start talking, they're evaluating clarity, organization, how you present yourself.
Which brings us to some ground rules. The guide is pretty strict on this. Your answer absolutely has to meet these criteria.
Yep. Three key things.
Mm-hmm.
First, it must be clear. No confusing jargon, no mumbling, just straightforward. Second, positive. You need that high energy, confident delivery. It sets the tone.
Okay. And third?
Third, short and professional. This is crucial. If you're still talking after, say, 2 minutes, you're probably rambling.
And you've lost them before the real interview even starts.
You've lost them. Yeah.
Okay, but hang on. That raises a challenge for me. We're about to lay out a 7-step structure, 7 points. If the answer has to be short and professional, under 2 minutes, how do you possibly fit 7 distinct points in without sounding like you're just rattling off a checklist at high speed?
That's a really good question, and it gets to the heart of how to use the structure. Each of these 7 steps, think of them as bullet points, not paragraphs.
Okay, concise.
Highly condensed strategic bits of information. The structure isn't there to make the answer longer. It's there to make sure you hit all the essential elements for a complete professional picture.
So hitting 7 key targets, but efficiently.
Maximum efficiency. Precisely.
All right, let's unpack this structure then. Maybe we can group the 7 points a bit, make it easier to follow the flow. The first few seem to be about setting things up.
Exactly. The first 3 are really the setup and foundation. It's the polite professional opening.
Okay, step 1, the greeting. Seems obvious, but important. Good morning, good afternoon, simple civility.
Sets a positive, respectful tone right away. Takes 2 seconds.
Step 2, name and place. Introduce yourself. Your name, maybe where you're from, just the basic ID. Keep it quick.
Very concise. It's just logistical info.
And step 3, education. Okay, so
Yeah.
move straight into your qualifications.
Yeah.
What you studied, where you got your degree. This lays down your foundational knowledge, right? Relevant to the job.
Yeah. And if you look at those first 3 steps, greeting, name, place, education, they probably take, 20, maybe 30 seconds total.
Seems about right.
And they transition smoothly. Politeness, basic info, then professional qualifications. Now, the next block is where you really start selling yourself.
The value proposition block makes sense.
Yeah. So, step 4, experience or skills. This is really the core of it. If you have work experience, you talk about the relevant parts.
And if you're a beginner, like what the source calls a fresher.
Then you pivot. You
Yeah.
focus immediately on your transferable skills, your professional strengths. This is where you directly connect what you can do to what they need.
Got it. So this step is really crucial for establishing your professional identity in their eyes.
Strategically, it's
Right.
probably the most critical point, yes. Okay, now we move to step 5. And this is the one that sometimes surprises people, but it's vital for building connection.
Which is?
Step 5, hobbies or interests. Adding something personal.
Wait a second. Why put the personal touch, the hobby here, right after the big professional value pitch in step 4, and before you talk about your future goals in step 6, seems an odd spot.
It's actually quite clever placement. Think of it as the humanizing anchor.
Humanizing anchor.
Okay. By sharing a brief, relevant hobby here, you let the interviewer see you as a rounded person, not just a bundle of skills. You do that right before you pivot to your forward-looking ambitions in step 6.
Ah, so it creates a little bridge, makes the transition smoother.
Exactly. It's a quick emotional connection. The flow becomes, here's my professional value. Oh, and by the way, I'm also a relatable human.
That makes sense. Strategic placement to maybe soften things before you get serious again about the future.
Precisely. Which leads us directly into step 6, goals. This is where you show you have ambition and direction. You need to talk about both your short-term and your long-term professional objectives.
Show them you're thinking ahead.
And that hiring you isn't just, a job for you. It's potentially a step in your career. You're looking for a future, and ideally, that future could involve them.
Right, aligning your goals with their company. And finally, step 7 wraps it all up.
Step 7, thank you. End it positively. Express gratitude for their time, for the opportunity to introduce yourself. Simple, polite closure.
Okay, so 7 steps. Greeting, name, place, education. That's a setup. Then experience skills for value, hobbies for connection, goals for the future, and thank you for closure.
It provides a clear roadmap, a predictable structure.
And you mentioned predictability. In a high-stress situation like an interview start, that must really help, right? Reduces the mental load?
Absolutely. You're not scrambling for what to say next. You know the flow, so you can focus purely on delivering it confidently.
Okay, so here's where, for me, it gets really practical and interesting. How does the 7-step structure actually change depending on where you are in your career?
Right, it's not one size fits all. You don't just fill in the blanks identically. You shift the emphasis.
And we have 2 case studies from the source material, the beginner candidate, the fresher, and the experienced candidate.
Let's tackle the beginner first.
Yeah.
They might not have a lot of formal work history, or maybe none. So the big challenge is, well, the lack of experience.
So step 4, the experience step, is naturally going to be pretty thin.
Exactly. So the focus has to shift completely. You're selling potential, not past results. It's all about mindset and willingness to learn.
So the language needs to reflect that, right? High coachability.
Definitely. The guide gets specific here. It advises beginners to stress qualities like being a quick learner, being hardworking, and being always ready to learn new skills. You're highlighting your aptitude.
And you need proof, even if it's not from a job. The example mentioned things like completing extra courses.
Yes, like basic computer and English-speaking courses.
Yeah.
It shows initiative. It tells the interviewer, look, I don't just wait around. I actively work on improving myself.
Proactive. Okay. And how do they frame their goals differently? Step 6.
For the beginner, the short-term goal needs to be realistic and grounded. Something like, get a good job where I can learn and grow. It sets a reasonable expectation.
Makes sense. Not, I want to be CEO tomorrow.
Exactly. And the long-term goal is ambitious, but tied to the field. Maybe be, build a successful career in the specific area. It's basically an investment pitch. Invest in my potential.
Even the hobby, step 5, can be strategic for a beginner.
Absolutely. The example used was reading books, improving my English skills. See how that cleverly ties personal time back into professional development.
Ah, very smart. Everything reinforces that message. High potential, eager to grow.
Every single element points that way. Now, contrast that completely with the experienced candidate.
Okay, so someone with years under their belt.
The focus shifts immediately. It's all about results, about proven value. They aren't selling potential, they're selling proof.
So step 4, experience skills, becomes the main event for them.
Dominant section, yeah. They need to hit specific metrics right away. Total years of experience, their current or most recent job title, the company name.
And not just duties, but achievements, right?
Exactly. A concise description of main duties, but ideally hinting at achievements. It's about quantifiable contributions.
And the personality part, does that change too?
It does.
Okay.
Instead of just willingness to learn, the emphasis is more on contribution, stability, being result-oriented. The guide suggests language like being a dedicated and result-oriented person who believes in teamwork and continuous improvement.
So framing yourself as someone who can step in and deliver immediately, a reliable asset.
Precisely. An immediate contributor. Their goals, step 6, will also reflect this, often focus on leadership, specialization, or taking on more complex challenges, a clear vertical or strategic move.
And the hobby, step 5 for the experienced person. Does it still need to be strategic?
Less so. It can be broader, things like enjoy learning new things or spending time with my family. Their professional credibility is already built by their track record.
So the personal detail is more about just adding a touch of personality, making them relatable.
Just a bit of flavor, exactly, to round them out as a person.
So it's the same 7 steps, but the weight and the content within each step shifts dramatically based on experience. Beginner sells potential, experienced sells proof.
And that 7-step flow ensures either way, you're hitting all the necessary strategic points for a strong introduction.
For anyone listening who's thinking, okay, I get the structure, but how do I make this sound, well, natural, not like I'm reading a script?
That's a fair concern. And the source actually gives a good example, someone named Aditi Sharma. Her sample answer demonstrates how it can flow confidently.
Right, I remember seeing that. She uses the structure, but it doesn't sound robotic. Like when she talks goals, she specifically mentions wanting to work with a good company like yours. That's tailored.
So she's done her homework. And her long-term goal, becoming a team leader, it shows clear direction.
And the guide explicitly calls her answer confident and natural.
And that word, natural, that's the result we're aiming for. It comes from practice, from internalizing the structure. Confidence isn't just knowing what to say.
It's being comfortable saying it, especially under pressure.
Exactly. Delivering the knowledge smoothly.
Okay, so let's make this really actionable for everyone listening right now. If you want to achieve that kind of confident, natural delivery, what are the exact steps the guide recommends?
It's a very clear 2-step process, really. Step 1, you have to actually write it out.
Get pen and paper or open a doc.
Yep. Force yourself to follow that 7-point structure. Write out your introduction. Tinker with it until it fits those strategic molds and feels right for you. You need to internalize the logic first.
Makes sense. You need the raw material. Then what? Step 2.
Step 2 is repetition. Practice. The guide specifically says, practice speaking it out loud 3 to 4 times.
Out loud, not just reading it silently.
Critically important. Out loud. In front of a mirror, maybe record yourself or practice with a friend. This builds muscle memory. It helps with fluency, timing, and finding the right pronunciation and intonation.
So that repetition, it takes it from being just like data points in your head
to becoming a smooth, natural narrative, a story you can tell comfortably.
Yeah.
So when you walk into that interview room and they hit you with, tell me about yourself.
It's not panic station.
No, it's a known quantity. You're not frantically trying to figure out your next sentence. You're just delivering something you've rehearsed, something you own.
So this practice, it transforms that moment of peak anxiety, the very start of the interview, into potentially your moment of maximum advantage.
Exactly. You're pre-programming a professional, positive first impression. And that sets the baseline, the tone, for everything that comes after.
Okay, so to quickly recap that tell me about yourself question, it's not small talk, it's a critical test.
A test of communication requiring structure, clarity, positivity, professionalism.
We've given you the 7-step blueprint. Greeting, name, place, education, experience, skills, hobbies, goals. Thank you.
And we've shown how you tailor that content, focusing on potential if you're starting out, or proven performance if you're experienced.
The structure acts like your safety net. It frees you up mentally,
allowing you to focus less on what to say and more on how you say it on connecting.
Which leads us nicely into our final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Consider this. The guide emphasizes practicing this intro 3 or 4 times. What does that repetition really do, beyond just memorizing the words?
How does knowing that structure, knowing your opening lines cold, actually free up your mental bandwidth during those crucial first few minutes?
Does it perhaps allow you to stop focusing inward on reciting your script and instead focus outward, to genuinely connect with the interviewer, to maybe read their body language, notice the nonverbal cues?
And actually respond in the moment rather than just delivering data points?
Exactly. That ability to shift from recitation to real connection confidently. Maybe that's the true difference maker that this structured preparation unlocks. Something to think about.